Hey everyone, Big Willy here from Big Willy's Fab Shop. Today's episode, we are going to be hopping back on that 58 project, and we're going to get the box on, as you can see, and some other things, so stay tuned. First step is to go back and fix my screw up on the body mounts, the radiator support mounts. Made them too wide, so I'm just cutting the tack weld, rebend them in, and then tack them up again. Hindsight here. And then after that, fixed the radiator support cross member. It has been cracked and has been welded several other times. So this time, hopefully welding it for the last time. So getting it all restructured and all stiff to begin further work on it. So then after that, then it's time to kind of fit up the inner splash guards, cutting some more area to go around those, that mount on the radiator support bracket. Not much cutting I had to do here to kind of slip over that 1/4 inch plate. Pretty dang pleased on how it fit in there, and halfways look like it's stock. After getting the front nice and stout, next to move on to the cab, to get the cab floor more stout again, so fixing up some of the cracks. Most of the cracks are due to the amount of frame flex this pickup had. So if you're going off-roading, which I'm assuming it did quite a bit in its life, being an old farm truck, and the amount of cracks, the frame can flex quite a bit, and then cab and body is bolted to the frame. So if the frame really flexes, the cab has to go with it. So over time, just the amount of fatigue happening back and forth, it eventually will give somewhere, and where it gave is kind of the cab floor, and then the radiator support bracket, as you can see that I welded up. Cleaning out the glove box, I found a couple spark plugs, so I have a suspicion that this engine liked to fall out plugs. Just a hunch though. After that, time to go pick up the box, bring it in the shop, and we'll see how much of a hassle I got myself into fitting this up onto the Expedition. You can watch in the box, there's a mouse that runs out. We played a little mouse and cat game, Tom and Jerry, but that, hook up the box to the gantry crane, lift it up, and lower it on the frame. So this is the moment I realized how much hassle I got myself. I'm not gonna lie, it wasn't too bad. As you can see here, the next couple shots, overall everything fit fairly smooth. As I say, fairly smooth. I don't have to cut the entire body. I'll have to do some cutting, but in a Expedition frame, not too bad. After getting a visual of what I had to cut and remove and make, took the box off again, and this is where I start cutting everything and making things work. Definitely did not do it on the first try, a lot of on and off attempts, but biggest things I had to do here is cut the rear member off where it bolted onto the frame. I started with the torch, that took forever, it sucked, and not a clean cut, so I switched over the angle grinder. Then I had to cut off that second to the last cross member, and then the third cross member I had to cut edges off, and then do some more cutting around the spring buckets, coilover buckets, to make the box be able to sit down further. And then lastly, I had to cut a hole around the spare tire changer mechanism, holder thingamajig, so the floor could sit all the way down on the frame. And then the next step is to make the box mounts. I spare you the small little details, but really what I did here is put the box on, a lot of tape measuring, and I drew up some mount slot tab methodology here so it kind of all fit together like Legos. And here you'll see me drilling. It's not because I screwed up, but because I screwed up. It'll always happen. You'll never be perfect. first one. So then lastly, move on to the rear bed mount. So that's what these angle iron brackets are for, and the square piece of pipe gets welded to the box. Then next to weld in kind of some plates. This is just to keep that C-channel out from squeezing out once I put a bolt through there. And then lastly, to tack weld the square pipe to the box. So this will be the last set of body mounts or cap bed mounts. And then here's kind of the welded up ones. The box actually sits on those. Nothing gets bolted. It just kind of helps support it. Some more mounts here. So these are the second in from the cab. And these are the third in ones that I kind of messed up on my measurements. So got 2 holes. So one works and one doesn't work. And then that second to the rear rib that I fully cut out, it actually sits on top of that tube there. Lastly, those angle irons pieces get bolted to the square tubing piece that I welded on. Moving over to the box, underneath here. So that's the first set of body mounts, box mounts to the cab, and then that's the other rail that it gets sit on, round piece of pipe, the flat iron. And these are the second inwards mounts. On scrap 1/4-inch plate here to give it some more structure. Third set in, and then that's the piece that sits on that tubing or round tubing above the spare tire, and then lastly that square tubing, that's why I'll weld it in. It gets bolted to those angle iron pieces. So overall not too bad. And lastly, kind of going back to where I stitched the frame back, welded in some kind of reinforcement fish plates, give it a little more structure so it's not totally relying on my welds. So structure, just get it nice and deep. And then lastly, going around, clean up everything, and then shooting everything with a coat of primer from resting. And there you have it. The body is on the chassis. Overall, everything fits up pretty dang good. I gotta shim the back of the cab up just a little bit, get it in line with the box, get that body line nice and crisp. It's actually sitting on the rubber bushings right now, so that ride height kind of mocked up as it be actually bolted on there. So overall, pretty clean setup, I have to say. See that body line a little lower than the box, but do some more shimming and some more reinforcement underneath the cab, just to strengthen up that floor. So when I put seats in there and put some seat belts, and then we'll be ripping out. So underneath the box here, bolted right through there. Hard to see all the other mounts, but they're underneath there. Put out around the fender to get around that perch. And then in the rear, can't really see nothing because it's done, but it is what it is. Finish the look. Back of the box. Have to do some covers or some plates there, but determined on how I might do that. But besides that, that's all I have for this episode of Big Willy's Fab Shop. Stay tuned for the next episode of this pickup. Got a couple more things I need to take care of structural wise, but then it'll be moving over to the fun stuff. Steering, brakes, AC, seats, you name it, but stay tuned.
Is the life for me. Land spread out so far and wide. Keep Manhattan discreet in the countryside.
No!